Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Berlin Demography Days. Before we start, let me give you three short technical informations. The first one is that we have a German-English translation service. To access the service, you have to click on the globe at the bottom of your screen, and then you can choose the language which you would like to use for following the panels. Meine Damen und Herren, herzlich willkommen bei den Berliner Demografietagen.
Ladies and gentlemen, a cordial welcome to the Berlin Demography Days. Before I start, let me provide you with instructions. You will find a German-English translation service. If you click on the globe at the bottom of your screen, where you can select the language of your choice.
Second information I would like to give you is that we use Q&A for questions. So over the panel, you can put down your questions through Q&A. You see also the button at on the bottom of the screen. You see also the button for the Q&As. My third hint is that we will now also record the session for our YouTube channel. So welcome again to the third day of our Berlin Demography Days, the Global Demography Forum. My name is Andreas Edel. I'm the Executive Secretary of Population Europe. Together with our co-organizer Diakonie Deutschland, we established this platform where eminent experts and decision makers from policy, science, from the economy, from social institutions, discuss with you issues of demographic change in Germany, Europe, and worldwide. The global perspective is particularly important for us. On the one hand, it's important to understand how demographic patterns are linked to and driven by social phenomena, socioeconomic conditions, institutional and cultural settings, different mentalities, political participation, and policy interventions, but also the consequences of this. We can learn a lot from what population change means in other contexts. On the other hand, in a global world, in a digitalized economy, demographic developments in a particular country are highly relevant for us. We can only solve the big challenges of our generations, just to mention climate change and social inequality, by mutual collaboration and knowledge exchange, and this is particularly important if it comes to population developments. So the Global Day, even if it's the third day of the Berlin Demography Days, is perhaps the most important one of our endeavor. Let me use the opportunity to thank our partners. Most of all, our cooperation co-organizer, Diakonie Deutschland, and here in particular, the President Ulrich Lilie, and my colleagues Christian Oelschlägel and Claudia Keller. Then the German Youth Institute, Deutsches Jugendinstitut, represented by Sabine Walper, the director, Birgit Reissig, and Jens Potmann. The OECD, represented by Verle Miranda, Monika Kweiser, Miriam Alam, and Shunta Takino. And then my fellow colleague, Nico von Nimwegen, for our European Demographer Association, European Association for Population Studies, and the international organization IUSSP, International Union for the Scientific Study of Population. My special thanks go to the team of Population Europe, namely Susanne Höp, Önder Muti, Mahalia Thomas, Daniela Fono, and Heike Walter, who did an amazing job to get this forum done. Especially I would like to thank the more than 50 speakers, keynote speakers, discussants, and panelists who make this Berlin Demography Day such a great success, and we are looking very much forward today to learn a lot from you. My special gratitude goes also to the sponsors, particularly the German Federal Ministry for Family Affairs, Senior Citizens, Women and Youth, the German Federal Ministry of Health, and the German Federal Ministry of the Interior and Community. The Global Demography Day, the day which we are having today, is also funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I would also like to express my gratitude to the foundation for this support. So I wish us exciting Global Demography Day. Thanks a lot to all of you for attending. And now I would like to hand over to my colleague, Nico von Nimwegen.
Thank you very much, Andreas and friends at Population Europe, and welcome everybody to this third day of the Berlin Demography Days. And as Andreas already said, we already had some very great sessions where Monday we started with the focus on Germany. Tuesday we went to Europe, and now we have the lens even wider and we will focus on global issues. And we're of course looking forward to another great day of presentations. I'm Nico van Nimwegen, and I have the honor, as Andreas already said, to represent no less than two scientific associations, the European one and the global one. And of course, the priority is on the global one, the International Union for the Scientific Study of Population, which is the World Association of Population Scientists. We in the IUSSP are very proud to be part of this Berlin Demography Days. We were here before, and we'd like to continue this tradition. And we see many of my colleagues of the IUSSP Council on today's program. As I said yesterday, demographers and demography is often associated with population aging, which is of course great, and it's of course right. But however, we should not forget, and sometimes journalists seem to do that, and maybe also other people, that population aging is not only about the older population, it's also about the population of in the middle ages and of course, the younger population. And so we are very happy in the IUSSP that today the focus is on the younger age groups. And we have exciting sessions to look forward to, the voices of the younger generations in politics, the attitudes, the aspirations, and the crisis resilience of the young, their life course experiences, and of course, the policy, supporting policies approach. So we're looking forward to another great day of sessions, and happy to pass on the floor to the next speaker.
Am I up now? No, oh, there you go.
Oelschlägel, Ihr Ton ist irgendwie komisch. Können Sie nochmal?
Your sound is somewhat strange. Could you check your audio?
Besser zu verstehen.
Viel besser.
Okay, das
Understand me better.
Herzliche
Well, thank you very much. I would warmly welcome you on behalf of Diakonie Deutschland, who organizes together with Population Europe these 3 days. And today it's the Global Forum. I am very happy to be again on board because our organization is deeply into looking at the most fragile and most disadvantaged groups of population, especially in our aging societies. Young people are at a disadvantage. They are little listened to. At the same time, they belong to those groups of population that have been hardly hit, specifically hit by a number of crises this year. We want to look at the life situation of young people. We are happy to have invited such a huge number of experts, outstanding experts that are going to discuss these issues with us. We have structured our conference by 4 lead questions, and we also tackled these questions in the previous 2 days, and today we want to shed light on them from a global perspective. First, it'll be about the question, what's the voice of younger people in politics? On the one hand, we have seen the Beta generation, the generation Beta is highly active in politics. They have conquered the stage. They make their voices heard. On the other hand, we notice that this political engagement is not necessarily linked to political influence or power. Many young people are left with the feeling that they are listened too little to, that they have no voice. And how can we improve this situation to enable better political participation for the younger generations? The times of crisis that I talked about a moment ago have a special power to split apart societies. When entire groups of the population have the feeling that they are left behind, that they are neglected. So that's the reason why we want to look into the question, what recommendations can we give so as to ensure better participation, or that the perception of better participation is guaranteed. On the other hand, We quite too often take a rather generalized view, as if the younger people were a homogeneous group, but there are certainly so many subcategories. They reflect the huge diversity in our societies. So what can we state from a demographic and a socio-demographic perspective about this group and its composition? Which brings me to the second point, the question of attitudes and expectations, and also the crisis resilience. COVID-19, this pandemic, has certainly had a major impact on population, especially due to restricted access to formal and informal educational services. The question arises, what will be the impact of the pandemic on this group, the younger generations, which has been hit specifically hard? This regards the educational sector, but also the question, how does this crisis experience change the self-perception and also the perception of the opportunities that these young people are going to have in the future? What are the fears triggered? What are the concerns? But how can we also strengthen them so that they can cope successfully with crises and so as to enable them to compensate for the losses and shortcomings. So this is the question about resilience. Here we need to include also their family perspective, the family planning. Here, it's especially the life course perspective that helps us along. In the third section, we want to ask, what can we learn from the life course perspective to understand better what it means to have these experiences in early childhood or during adolescence? What is their impact that they leave on health, professional career, social participation, and political engagement in future? Moreover, what will the main features, the main characteristics of this generation be? In the past, we normally saw rather linear development from childhood through adolescence, training, vocational training, and then one job for life. Today, however, we see many fragmented professional biographies. So what can we say about the life course perspective? Last but not least, we also want to ask what the consequences are. What can be our recommendations for political decision makers or for political action? Which political tools do we need first to enable young people to go this educational experience full circle and to strengthen their individual well-being, but also to strengthen their participation? All these are huge questions. That's why we have decided to address these questions in different panels with different experts. I am very happy to see that you have joined us and that they have joined us and can help us discussing these issues.